Hello there, and welcome to your weekly Soul Tribe Live. It's Power Coach Alicia here, and today we are talking all about how to clear your negative self-talk and boost your self-confidence. Please take a second so that you get in the know, you know what we've got going on here, what I have for you here, and text the word soul to the number 41372. All right. If you're already on the text list using the old short code, you are good to go. But to get on our text list now, make sure that you're here. Again, it's 41372 is the number, and you text the word soul. So when I go live, you will get a reminder of when I go live. And like I said, if you've already subscribed to our text list, you are good to go there. So just know that the more you ask, the more you're going to get out of this session. So make sure you ask anything, get any clarification, get any support, whatever you've got going on, whatever you need, feel free to ask here. If you're on replay, drop hashtag replay in the comment and tag me with any questions you ask. I will come back and answer every single question that you have. And if you're live here with me, say hi to me. So hello to Anne. So definitely say hi. I love it when you're interactive and you're responsive. Again, whether you're on replay or live. And then again, if you're live with me, feel free to ask any questions you have. If you want to get into feel good action so that you stop procrastinating and causing yourself undue stress, all you need to do is type the word clear in the comments today. We'll shoot you a message. We'll chat a little bit, see how we can help you really shift into getting into action and eliminating that undue stress. So all you have to do is do hashtag clear in the comments. If you don't know who I am, I'm Power Coach Alicia, and I help you heal your soul by teaching you my AWE, that's my name in my company, my AWC process that allows you to know whether you have the capacity to give to others before you say yes to them. And then I teach you how to be able to say no without feeling guilty and sabotaging yourself. So if you want to learn more about that and how to implement that in your own life, again, just type hashtag clear in the comments. Now, for today's training on how to clear your negative self-talk and boost your self-confidence, this is continuing on our get into feel good action that we've got going on here. So I would like you to take a second, and we call them temp checks. And I want you to rate your temperature on two different areas, okay? The first area I want you to rate your temperature on is your negative self-talk. So on a scale from 1 to 10, we do the scale all the time in my world. 1 being one being that your negative self-talk is horrible. You say the worst things to yourself. You put yourself down. 10 being like you're fucking awesome with how you treat yourself. All right. Where are you at on this cycle? Okay. I want to know. So for your negative self-talk, I want you to rate in the comments on a scale from 1 to 10. How are you with how you talk to yourself? All right. 1 is you're horrible at it. You're mean to yourself. It's really, really, really shitty. Right. And 10 is you're really awesome. You've got a hold on that. You don't talk to yourself like that. You know the detriment of that, and you treat yourself well. All right. So where are you at on that scale? So that's the very first thing that I want you to look at. All right. Then the next thing that I want you to rate on a scale from 1 to 10 is your self-confidence. All right. 1, you have 0 self-confidence. You're down and out, low belief system in yourself. You struggle with it. 10, you have a high level self-confidence. You are proud of yourself. You're not afraid to admit it. You know, people call you cocky, but you're just confident. Where are you at on that scale? Now, do your best not to choose 5 on either of these scales, because you want to be really honest with yourself about where you fit here. And the reason why you don't want to choose a 5 is because it's really easy to take a 5 and just say, oh, I'm in that middle ground. I could go either way, The truth is you're either lower at a 4 or higher at a 6, right? So where are you? If you could go either way, are you closer to the lower end or are you closer to the higher end? All right. So that's something that I want to do. Let's see where you are. Throw your numbers down in the comments. Like I said, if you're on replay, just drop hashtag replay in the comments. Respond with me as we go along. If you're live with me, make sure that you say hi. I would love that so freaking much. All right. So we've got a 6 on the negative self-talk, a 4 on the self-confidence. Now, once you have taken this inventory, now you can start to do the work to eliminate and clear out that negative self-talk and boosting your confidence, right? Because a lot of times when you are not taking inventory of where you're at, what's going on, how you're feeling, you actually cannot get better on your personal development journey, on your soul healing journey. You're not going to get better because you're just thinking, well, I could use a little help. Well, if you rate yourself beneath a 7 on either of these, you could use a lot of help, right? This is where you've got to go to work and start putting together daily habits that really help you shift into the next level version of you. So, do you ever say things to yourself like, I'm such a bad mom. I wish I was a better wife. I'm such a bad friend. I can't believe that I didn't get all of that stuff done. And now my partner has to come home and this and that, right? And he's going to think, what did she do all day? Are you embarrassed about your house and how it looks because you don't have the time and the energy for it? I want you to take a second and hear me when I say this next part. This comes from your physical clutter and how your space looks and feels around you. So when your space looks and feels frustrating, annoying, cluttery, hey Maya, and disconnected, it's going to cause these extra feelings inside yourself. And the challenge is you feel like shit, so you don't do shit. And you don't do shit because you feel like shit. It creates a vicious cycle. So are you connecting with this? Shout out yes in the comments if you said these things to yourself or similar. And you've noticed that when you feel like shit, you don't do shit. And because you don't do shit, you feel like shit. You look around, your space is annoying you. So you feel bad inside. You feel bad inside. So you don't do anything about your space. Shout out yes in the comments if you have noticed this vicious cycle. And I want to say this because it's really important. This isn't your fault, okay? It's not your fault because you have the BS that you were taught that this is how you're supposed to show up and how everything is supposed to be and what you're supposed to do and how life is supposed to look. You have the BS that is teaching you that. And with the BS that you're buying into, it's causing that vicious cycle. Now, your thoughts about yourself translate into the things that you ruminate over. Those things that you're constantly thinking about and feel like you can't let go of. So when you have these thoughts, you start ruminating. When you start ruminating, you are in, and now you're in an emotional cycle spiral and you're in a vicious physical cycle spiral, right? So you're in this cycle over here, this spiral over here. This is going down. This is going around and around. I feel like shit inside. My space looks like shit, right? And then you're over here and you're like, this is how things are supposed to look. This is how things are supposed to feel. This is how things are supposed to go because of your BS. Now, BS stands for belief system. So when you shift your belief system from what I call unfair expectations to a belief system of what you have, the ability, the willingness, and the capacity to be, do, have, the commitments that you make and to show up, it's going to make a world of difference. Okay. So one thing that we've got to do is stop the rumination. Hey, Morgan, right? You got to stop ruminating. We've got to stop the vicious cycle of things look like shit and I feel like shit and I feel like shit. So things look like shit and I don't do shit because I feel like shit and I feel like shit because I don't do shit. We got to stop that cycle, right? And then the next part of this is the thoughts that are going on in your mind. We've got to get those under control and shift those as well. And what's even worse about this is that those negative thoughts about yourself, they actually plummet your efficiency in all areas of your life. And most important, they plummet your self-esteem. So when you have these negative open thought loops over and over and over again, that's why your space looks like fucking shit. That's why you look in the different areas of your life and you're feeling frustrated. You're feeling disconnected. You're feeling like, what the fuck is the point in all of this, right? Because of the way you feel inside and what's going on in your mind, the way your life is ran, organized, the efficiency, all of the things around that is like shit. And then your self-esteem continues to plummet and you end up in a depression. We talked about this in the Seasons of Your Soul last month in January. So definitely search the group for seasons and it should pop up, about how you talk about that you're stuck in a winter depression. You're not stuck in a winter depression. It isn't a winter depression. It is what I'm talking about right now. Physical clutter, mind clutter, being in a vicious cycle of your space bothering you and driving your emotions down, and your emotions causing your space to look like shit, right? Ruminating over here in a spiral of things that you should do, must do, supposed to, have to, because you have these unfair expectations. That will create any sort of depression or anxiety, no matter what fucking time of the year it is. People will say that they have winter depression, and they'll say, oh, they have summer depression, and then they say they have fucking fall depression. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? It has nothing to do with the seasons that are actually going on outside. It has everything to do with your negative self-talk and that confidence and what's going on inside. So I want to take a beat and I want to ask you, is this connecting with you, right? Are you really connecting to what I'm saying here? So I want you to shout out in the comments. I want to make sure that we're here because we're going to go into a few questions that you can utilize and you can ask yourself to start doing this work to shift into the next level version of you. And while you guys are responding in the comments, I want to remind you that where your focus and energy goes, grows. So where you are putting your attention, where you are harboring, where your energy is hanging out, that is going to grow. So as you ruminate over all of these things, your negative thoughts start running rampant. And then all the words you say to yourself become your fucking truth. And that leaves you looking in the mirror saying, who the hell is this person? What the hell is wrong with me? I don't even recognize myself anymore. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, as soon as someone else says something that reaffirms the shit that you've been saying to yourself, it sends you into a spiral of compound stress. And compound stress is this. It's when you are stressed or overwhelmed by these things over here. And these are legitimate things. And then because these legitimate things are really incapacitating you inside, almost as if bringing you to your knees or really causing you a lot of turmoil, anxiety, stress, and heartache, you end up creating a list of compounded things. And it's just a list that you create for the sake of adding to them because you spiraled and your subconscious is making things a lot bigger deal than they need to be. So here's an example of legitimate stress. It would be that your kids need a ride schedule set up to and from school during work hours. Like so that's like the first thing, right? The second thing is who's going to take care of them when they get home because you still need to work. So legitimate stress is we've got to figure out a ride schedule to and from school for the kids, right? And then when they get home, how are they being cared for until you get home from work? Legitimate things to cause stress. But if that is causing you a high level of stress, you're not only going to focus on that, but you'll also create a whole list of other things to compound that stress so that it ends up an even bigger issue than what it already is. Okay. So that's when you end up in a downward spiral and you end up in a breakdown. So you might say something like, I got to figure out who's picking up the kids and who's staying with them until I get off work. Right. And then you go, plus I've got dinner, the dog needs food, I need gas in my car, I need to go grocery shopping, this kid has a doctor's appointment, that kid has this going on in extracurricular, right? But this kid has a doctor appointment in 3 weeks, that kid has extracurricular, and I have a huge report due at work, and I need my hair cut, and. That's compound stress. And compound stress does you no good to helping you get the end result of you that you want of relieving the stress in your life. It only adds to it. So the issue went from being a legitimate couple of things with the kids to an entire compound list of things that don't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. And they'll usually work themselves out on their own, or you'll be able to figure them out as they come. So what you really want to do is pay attention to your subconscious and how it starts creating the compound stress for you just for the sake of giving you more things to stress out about. The big lesson here and the big takeaway I want you to have in this part of today's training is that when you feel a high level of stress, make sure you stay in legitimate stress and then find a solution for the legitimacy. Okay? Stay in legitimate stress. You will know when you go to compound, I promise you. It is very, very, very obvious. Compound stress feels like you have way too much and you can't figure it out. You can't work through it. It's overwhelmed because you have so much pressure. Oh, it's hot in here. Hold on. So because you have all of this stress, because you have all of these feelings and you can't figure anything out, when you are in compound stress, there are zero solutions being had. It's just and then you're frustrated and you're telling your partner, you're telling your girlfriend, like, I have all of this and I can't deal with this and there's this and then there's that and then there's that. Okay, that's not legitimate. That's compound. So when you get to that point, nothing is going to be solved. Keep that in mind. Until you step back into legitimate stress, nothing gets solved. As soon as you step into compound, it's like all bets are off. Nothing's going to happen. There is no resolution here. Okay. It's like an argument. If you're in an argument with somebody in a disagreement and you guys are on opposite sides, you will notice in that conversation, it's just a compound. And this and that and here and there and this going on and that going on. I need you here and I need you there. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And this bothered me and that bothered me. But it started out with a comment that they made that you felt like was rude. Yeah? You guys feel me on this? So the comment was rude, legitimate. You're not going to fucking talk to me like that. So instead of staying in the space of the legitimacy of the comment that is the problem, you string on all of these other compound things and situations and things that happened in the past. And guess what happens? You never come to a resolution. You end up in this circle of an argument with that person over and 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 over again for hours. And if you can come back or stay in the legitimacy and only have the intention of understanding them and them understanding you to come to a common ground of understanding of where each other is coming from, it's over in no time. You can have a complete and wholeness in a conversation and move on. But if you go into the compound of it, it never gets solved. Same thing with the stress inside of you. All right, so I'm glad this is connecting. Yes. Good, Maya. Maya says, I'm having hubby listen to this when he wakes up. Yeah, because listen, what we're talking about today is all normal. All right. So there's nothing wrong with you if you're really connecting to this and you're really feeling this. And it's something that you're like, oh my God, like this is so me. I've got a problem. I mean, maybe you do have a problem, but this is human nature. And that's why you're here, is to learn how to shift through these things so you can get to that next level version of you. And if you want to really learn how to get into that feel good action so that you stop procrastinating and causing yourself all of this undue stress, I'd be happy to chat with you, help you, and pull together a plan that's customized for you, your life, what you've got going on, and help you really shift into this and do the work here. So all you need to do is type #clear in the comments and I'll shoot you a message. We can chat about it. So in doing some work for you, what are you ruminating over, right? So getting into actual journaling work and working through this, what are you ruminating over? I'd love you to shout out one thing you're ruminating over in the comments. But in your journal work, I want you to make whatever list that is. Be careful not to compound it. Be true with whatever the list is, right? Something that you feel like you've been stuck on, maybe cycling through, and it's not really serving you, right? So what are you ruminating over? As a Taurus, I find I ruminate over things that don't make sense to me. If I cannot create a solution, I ruminate. Like, what the hell? How do I do this? Why are they being like this? How did I get here? What is going on, right? If I can't figure it out, or I am in a state of pushing myself too hard, I've been giving too much time, I've been giving too much effort, and I cannot get it together, I will ruminate over it. And I'll ruminate until I can come up with a solution that makes sense to me. So I'll find myself getting in this energy of, today I talk about it, tomorrow I talk about it, the next day I talk about it, the next day I talk about it. I'm like, fucking A, I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm annoying myself because I'm fixated on this thing and I just can't let it go. And this has been a growth for me of learning when I get stuck in rumination. So I want you to shout out in the comments, what's something that you notice that you've been ruminating over? Again, another reason why you will ruminate is because you feel out of control. So when something doesn't make sense, or when somebody does something that is out of my control, that I can't help, that they want to allow me to help, or like I said, situations that I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to the reason why this is this way, or I don't understand why this is a burden that's being put on me when it's really this person's thing. I will cycle through that from every fucking angle and direction because I can't just let it go, right? And I've been doing a lot of work on that because it's not healthy. But knowing that if you ruminate because it doesn't make sense, or knowing that some of your rumination comes from things that are outside of your circle of control. All of these are important things for you to know. But when you choose your thing that you find that you're ruminating over, ask yourself why. What makes me ruminate over this? So that in the future, when something pops up and you get in that energy, you can go, no, no, no. I'm not going to allow this to do this and take me down this track. And instead, you can put some sort of action in place instead that gives you back your personal power, protects your personal power, releases whatever it is, right? And that's what's really big about the work that we do in my Ignite Your Soul program is you learn these things at a deep soul level, but you're also learning, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to replace my bad habit of ruminating with. So instead of ruminating, this is the action I'm going to take to help myself feel better, right? So Maya says, I take on my hubby's energy as my own because I know how he can fix it. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Like once you have come out the other side of the journey you see somebody else on, one of the hardest things is relinquishing control over the fact that they're choosing to sit in the shit instead of do something about it when you know that things could be so much better for them, right? It's like, dude, if you would just pull your head out of your ass and just quit feeling sorry for yourself and listen to me, then, so then you feel like this energy of and responsibility for where they're at. And I can tell you, I do that with my friends. I've done that with my children. I've done that with my partner, my husband, Daniel. Like I've done that. And so I totally feel that. And I'm still consistently reminding myself to let go, to relinquish control. Like you don't have to be a miserable fuck all the time, but because that's your choice, I will do my best to be here for you. I will hold space for you. I will send you good vibes. However, you're going to have to make the decision to come out the other side of that, right? And sometimes it feels like you're being more heartless and like you don't care. But the truth is that there's nothing you can do to help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. There's nothing you can do to help somebody shift who doesn't want to actually shift. And so when you find yourself doing that, there's work that needs to be done for you, right? So like we talk about in Ignite, Maya and Morgan, you could literally go and do a release ritual to release the energy that you're feeling about their choices or the energy of where they're stuck. You could easily do that for yourself to release that and let go. Because obviously there's a lesson that you need to learn in that, and you need to be grateful for that lesson, but you also need to release it as well because it isn't your burden. All right. Now, next, I want you to look at what are the voices saying to you in your head on a regular basis. So you make your list of whatever you're ruminating over or what you continue to go back to over and over as a default mode of rumination, right? And then you look at what are your voices saying to you on a regular basis? And this needs to be all encompassing, right? Not in just one area of your life. What are things that are on repeat in your head that don't serve you? I'm doing my best to think of something that I can that I cycle through. So mine, I was trying to think of something business wise, but here's one that's really big for me is that being me is too much for people, right? So I'll be like, yeah, well, you were you again, and that's why this, and that's why that, right? So it's a statement that I'll say to myself, yeah, well, because I was me, that happened. And the problem with that is that's me telling myself that because I am who I am, it's causing these problems. And the truth is, I'm an amazing person, right? And when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that in a positive way. I'm saying because of how I show up and who I am as a person, it's pushing these people away. It's making these people treat me this way. I'm being judged because of this. And it could be me being positive. Like if I have too much self-confidence, people will call me cocky. And I hate that. Like self-confidence is not cockiness. Go look up the definition of confident, cocky, and arrogance. They have 3 different definitions for a fucking reason. Confidence is not cocky. Confidence is not arrogant. However, people are so uncomfortable with somebody who is comfortable in themselves, somebody who knows their worth, and someone who is proud of who they are, that they automatically will say that that person is cocky. Now, if somebody tells me I'm cocky, I bitch them out. I put them in their place instantly. I won't allow them to put something on me that's not true for myself. And I absolutely fucking hate the fact that I say I say something that is confidence and you think that that's being cocky. Like, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a phenomenal life coach. I have been doing it since I was 10 years old. I absolutely love what I do. And, I change people's lives every day, right? I may say it like that. Then on the flip side, it's like, what do you do for a living? I am a business coach. I help female coaches build their business to 10K plus per month and recurring revenue. And I am fucking brilliant at what I do. How? Cocky much? Humble much? No, fuck you. I'm not cocky. And why should I be like your version of humble? Like, I can't say how fucking awesome I am. That makes me not humble. Like, you know what I mean? So when you are thinking about these things that you consistently say, you need to be looking at, why are you saying that? The reason why I say there's me being me again is because other people can't handle that. But that's like a dig at myself. No, that isn't a cool thing to say. That's not a good thing to say for me, because me being me is not a bad thing. Me being me may make somebody else feel uncomfortable, but that is also not a bad thing. Me being too much is relative to the person's strength and energy that they have and whether or not they can handle my too much. So why the fuck am I over here saying I'm too much for people and me being me caused this and caused that? No, that person and my match may not be the best fit, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong or that it's bad. Now, please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that you should walk around thinking that you're so fucking good and there's no room to grow and get better, because I'm always learning and growing. I'm always, being shown my flaws and where my next level of growth is. Sometimes it hits me over the head. Sometimes it kicks me in the fucking gut. The beautiful thing about me, see how I started that out by saying that? People would call that cocky. The beautiful thing about me is that when I am presented with something that it's time for me to grow, not only do I acknowledge it, not only do I confront it and tell the people that it is affected, that I'm sorry that it affected them that way, and then I just realized that I do that, and I also go to work to shift it. Only though, if I think it's something that I want to be better at. I never fucking change anything about myself that someone wants me to change. Ever. Ever. I only ever make changes with myself that I feel I want to make. I feel I want to make myself better. Will other people benefit? Fucking A, they will. But I'm not going to change myself for you because you can't handle me. I'm not going to do this thing differently because it's what's going to make you feel better. If I have to put myself so out in order to do that for you, I'm out. You're going to have to figure out how to adjust with that because I'm not going to do it. If I'm willing, if I feel connected, I'm in. If I'm not, I'm not. And I just tell the person, well, that's not something that I give a fuck to change. So I don't know what you're going to do about that. I'm very, very, very honest with it. Maya says, it's not happening now, but mine that pops up is I don't know enough to teach others and fill the time I need to make my program worthwhile. Yeah. So this self-doubt, that almost imposter syndrome. Yeah, I love that, Maya. Why make yourself little so that they don't feel so tiny? It's like you got to step up and in to your power so that when you're around people like me who are extremely powerful and confident and carry themselves and show up that way, that you don't feel like the size of an ant. Because my presence is enough to make people feel small. I don't have to say a fucking word. You have no idea how many times I've been told that I'm intimidating on a good day, not on a bad day. I'm extremely intimidating when I'm pissed off. But when I'm in a good mood, that's when I'm actually told I'm intimidating. Like, holy fuck, if you think I'm intimidating right now, you have no idea. Piss me off. You know? And when people say that, of course it's about them, right? It's not about me. But if you are not shifting into the next level of version of you, if you're not igniting your soul, if you're not doing the work, when someone tells you're intimidating, you feel guilty. You feel bad. When someone tells you that you're cocky, it hurts your feelings. You go in and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. No, fuck you. I'm not sorry. I'm proud of myself, right? Like when you are in your power and you've cleared out these negative self-talks, these things that you say to yourself, and you've really stepped into boosting that confidence, it's so much easier to recognize that the things that people are saying are about them. It's not for you to take ownership of. It's not for you to apologize for. It's not for you to ruminate over. It's not for you to add to the cycle of bullshit that you say to yourself. Like, I'm not too much for the right people. Me being me is not destroying things. Them not being them is what is destroying things. Them not being in their power is what's destroying things. Am I blaming? No, because I'm showing up in this energy and they show up in this energy. And because this energy is not strong and sound and this energy is strong and sound with no fucks to give, it creates a clash. So yes, if I adjusted my fucks to the person who is not in their power, then it would shift. But in this example, they're the one that needs to do the work because they're going to benefit the most and the people in their life is going to benefit the most from it anyways, not me. Right? So knowing when you're the one that needs to shift, step back, and when they're the one that needs to shift and step up is so fucking important. It's so important. Maya says, the one time I got to meet you in person, I felt so much bigger. See, that's the beauty of the work that you do. Like, Maya, could you imagine if you would have met me in person at the very beginning of your journey? It would have been totally like, not necessarily starstruck, but like this whole energy of like, man, I wish I could be there. Man, she's so maybe intimidating, right? Like, yeah, I think that is a great thing to point out because you guys see me on camera, right? And you get my energy on camera, but my energy in person is 100% more. The way I carry myself in person is way more powerful. And I don't even have to open my mouth. You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of power that I'm talking about. That is your version that I want you to have. And then the last thing I want you to write down is what are others always saying that add to your mind clutter? And I actually just went over some of those. Like the intimidation, the cockiness, the humble much. When someone says cocky in response to something I say, or they say humble much, do you know my first reaction is to want to throat punch that person? I have some growth that I need to do. Like, but that's instantly how I feel. It's like a how dare you energy, right? How dare you try and make me feel smaller because I am confident? How dare you try and make me feel smaller because I am fucking proud of what I've done, what I've accomplished, who I am, how I show up. Who are you? You know, who the fuck are you to do that? And the thing is, and I want to share this next thing with you. So let me put it in a story format. There was a situation where someone told someone else that they would be better off in a lower level position with lower, less people to be over, less responsibility, less stress. So a boss saying this to the next person down, while also saying, but I love you and I want you here and I want you on my team and you're so amazing. But I really think that moving here would be better for you because you would have a smaller team, and would reiterate what she was saying. This person's going, what the fuck? Like, I kill it in my position. I'm phenomenal at what I do. One of the highest levels of people in the fucking company has come to me and said, you are unbelievable. You're so amazing. I want to mentor you and lead you to where you want to go in your future in your life. And this fucking bitch who's only one level above me is telling me that she doesn't think I can handle this. Fast forward. Okay. Somebody comes up and says, hey, there is a lot of talk going on right now that you are racist and you are exercising your white man privilege, and this is going on, and just want you to know. Now, this person is already struggling because their boss is like starting to push them out. Now they've got their boss's boss and all the upper people talking about white privilege and da-da-da-da-da. Now, this person knows their truth, okay? They know what they stand for. They know what they're about, and they're a very strong human, very strong-willed. However, it's brought them to their knees. They cannot separate what someone is saying about them to what the truth is about themselves they know. Now, when you talk to them, they'll say, of course I'm not this and that. They'll stick up for themselves. Here's their story. Here's why they'll win. Here's why if this goes to HR, da-da-da-da-da. They have the power in defense and what their truth is. But that truth is not enough for what other people are saying and thinking. Tell me that you have not been in a situation like this where you know your truth, but because other people are saying things that is against your truth, that you are buying into that and it's still bringing you to your fucking knees, even though you know your truth. Have you been in a situation like that? What the fuck? You can't know your truth and allow other people to make you feel as what you know is not actually true. Those are diametrically opposed. So my thing is, you have to be buying into what they say at some level, don't you? You have to be wondering if what they're saying is true at some level, don't you? They have to be connecting with something that is a belief system, a BS, inside of you in order for that to impact you to the point where you're having breakdowns and you're second guessing yourself. And now you're worried about your job. No. You can't stand in your power and buy into the bullshit. Doesn't work like that. You have to fucking choose. Is your truth actually your truth? Or is this person actually right? Wake up. Comment. Do you hear what I'm saying? So many times you will step forward and in your power, while at the same time shrinking down to their level. That's not standing in your power. That's literally pretending that how you feel is how you feel. Somebody cannot bring you to your knees over something that you don't buy into at some level. Do you guys get that? They can't. So what's happening is this person is struggling like mad and teeter-tottering back and forth into truth and the bullshit, the truth and the bullshit, the truth and the bullshit. And the bullshit wins 9 times out of 10. They'll tell the truth and then be way fucked up inside about the bullshit. When you are faced with situations like this, you have to choose. Is what they're saying your truth? Is what your truth is your truth? You can't have it both ways. And if a portion of what they're saying is true, let the portion be true and fucking do something about it. But never allow people to put their view of you on you and bring it on as your own if it is not your truth. There is so much to unpack from this session, so much to connect with this session, so much to really do to grow from this session. So with that, few reminders. Your work that you're doing is, and in your journal is, what are you ruminating over? What's the list of those things if there are multiple things? What are your voices saying to you on a regular basis? And then what are others saying that add to your mind clutter? All right. Those 3 things are what you're journaling over. Okay. Those 3 things. All right. So remember to text the word soul to the number 41372 to get on our text list. Get those reminders anytime we go live or anything that we've got going on coming up for you. And if you want to learn how you can say yes and when you can say no without feeling guilty and sabotaging yourself so that you can avoid depleting all of your energy, I want you to type clear in the comments and let's just chat a little bit about what you've got going on, where you're at, what you're going through, what you're dealing with. Let me see how I can help you, point you in the right direction to really get that fire, that energy, that confidence, right? And remove the BS that we've been talking about today and replace that BS with strong belief systems, strong habits, strong things that will make a world of difference for your soul. Yeah. Alva says, I didn't buy into what they said about my teaching, so they fired me. Yeah. And you had to decide, was that true for you? Like, do I really believe in what I'm teaching, or did I make the wrong decision because now I'm fucking fired? Right? It's a big thing. I want you guys to start paying attention to these constant crossroads you're in. Legitimate stress, compound stress. Your truth, what the truth is that people are trying to put on you. Is it confidence or is it cocky and arrogant? Right? Are you in your power or are you pretending to be? There are always paths that you can take and always choices that you need to make on which one you're going with and where you're standing and what is absolutely true for you. So we'll be continuing on through the month of February. Each week that I do a session, they are linked in the description, and each session builds on each other. So last session was all about your physical clutter and how to clear your physical clutter to create peace in your mind, body, and soul. And as you know, today was about how to clear your negative self-talk and boost your confidence. Then we're going to move into the shift required to free yourself of emotional traumas that no longer serve you. And then we're going to wrap up the month with my lessons learned when I have not released other people's baggage and I carried it around too long. So this entire month is all about getting into action with these different topics. They'll each be linked in the description above, so you can go from one session to the next session as they are done. Or if you're watching this at another time, you can actually have an entire live coaching training series and go through that. Make sure that you get on the text list for anytime we go live. And remember to always say yes than you say more to yourself than you say yes to other people. Give yourself some grace. And it's always about progress, not perfection. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.